What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chaos. My name is Vlad the-tek, and today we're going to be talking about my new job. Okay, so in passing, I mentioned in the last video I recorded at least, that I was a correctional officer. That means that I work in a prison, watching people. So I thought we would actually take a look at a couple of different videos, the first one being a day in the life of a correctional officer. And maybe I'll look up, academy training for a correctional officer. I don't know if it's the exact training I'll go through, and I don't know if I'm going to be dealing with the exact same things that these guys are going through because I don't know what kind of security they have. I don't know if it's a minimum, minimum security, mid security, max. I don't know. However, we're going to be taking a look at these videos together and just having a look, hopefully having a laugh. All right, so this is apparently from Lexington. The time was 5:33 a.m.
5:30, it's time to go to work now.
You lying fuck, it said 5:33 earlier. Okay, real quick, I want to tell you about these jackets and uniforms and stuff. Their uniforms slightly different than mine, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff that they're wearing, I actually have to wear. I'm actually required to wear every bit of the uniform that they gave me. So that includes the shirt. I don't remember what the rules are on the caps, but I don't think I have to wear the cap. I will have to wear the shirt, belt, and pants that they gave me along with whatever boots I've got. And on cold days, you're required to wear this specific jacket. At the facility that I work at, they focus more on rehabilitation rather than punishment, and it's making that shift towards rehabilitation because you don't know. Some of the people in here might end up being your neighbors, and yeah, you want them to be prepared to actually be productive members of society like the rest of us. So you, as a correctional officer, want to present yourself as a neat, clean individual.
Right now it's 5:57. I'm about to go into a Bravo pod right here, take over post from the officer, and we'll go throughout the day, and I'll explain more and more what I'm doing every time we do something.
That's a lot of echo I can hear there. It must be a long freaking hallway. Also, when I walked inside the prison, well, not in the prison itself, because I haven't had the tour of the inside of the facility yet, but I was in the main office building. Why is it that prisons look suspiciously like public schools?
Got all your equipment's here. We got upper coming out today, upper and then lower. Head count of 89.
Okay.
Today is Wednesday, so you do have uniforms.
Okay, so already I can tell you this is a minimum security prison. That door right there pretty much tells me everything. You would not see that type of door on a maximum security penitentiary. They prefer the heavy steel doors that are on rails with the redundant backup lock. So there's a lot of stuff here that's going to be way different than what I have to deal with. I'm at a prison that actually has a kill fence. Yeah, so let that sink in. Okay, so I already know about this. What they're doing here is called an inmate count. If you notice, everyone in this room is either sitting down or standing up. There's actually a very morbid reason for that. It's to make sure that the person they're counting isn't dead. I shit you not. So if somebody's laying down on the floor in their cell or something like that, you can ask them to stand up, and they pretty much have to. Otherwise, if they don't, if they can communicate with you, you can at least continue your count. But if they don't do as you say and either sit up or stand up, you can actually write them up for that. That's actually a violation. It's a failure to follow orders or something like that. I don't remember what it is.
Hey, good morning, Bravo pod. Again, I'm MCO Ward. We're going to go over what's expected for the day. All of our stuff will be in our gray containers before we come out. Beds will be made up. We got a copy of the inmate rules right there on the wall. I don't think I have to go over all of them, but I will go over the most important ones. Tidiness is the key today. Other than that, we're going to have a pretty good day in here. We're about to kick off morning cleanup, so any questions and concerns about this will be addressed during your rec time.
Okay, a few things I actually want to say about that whole spiel. Basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to get all the inmates into a routine that they can follow once they get out. Since this is a minimum security prison or possibly just a holding area, a prison just meant to house people until they're sent to their final destination. They're trying to start the rehabilitation process by giving them a schedule that they can follow. Everything is laid out for them. They are told when to get up, when to eat, where they're working. I know for a fact at the prison I work at, the offenders make a wage for all the work they do, so they actually have money to spend. They're also told when they can take breaks, all that stuff. It's basically trying to show them, hey, if you just do this set of routines and stuff, you'll actually have a much better life and you won't have to do the things you did before that landed you in here in the first place. to this man's demeanor. You want to still be a human, you still want them to be able to come up and ask you questions, but you, especially at the prison I work at, a lot of these offenders are going to try to manipulate you. Some of them just for fun, and others to try to gain favors from the correctional officers. It does happen. I've heard some stories of things that correctional officers have done at the prison that I'm working at. And holy shit. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I'm pretty sure I can't. But you also want to maintain that level of, hey, look, I'm not here to be a friend with you. I'm just here to facilitate the activities that go on here. And I'm just meant to keep an eye on you guys, make sure you're safe, make sure you're not trying to escape because you're in here for a reason. The goal is to be firm, fair, and consistent. If you remember those 3 things when you're a correctional officer, you'll go a long way.
Like I said, just always keep check on the common areas, only because that's where they like to hide stuff a lot of times.
And right now, we just finished up our morning cleanup. We gathered our laundry and everything. Next thing is, and we'll go around, do another security check, make sure I still got 89 people in house. Gonna secure my gates. And then you'll see me throughout the day. I'm going to continue doing my security checks because that's what we do here. We manage by walking around.
You might also notice that this guy is on his feet a lot. Welcome to a security gig. If you're not up and moving around, then you're not maintaining a secure area. When I was a lifeguard, I had to scan my area in top to bottom every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds, I had to have seen all of my area. And they would double check it by doing what's called VATs. They would take a mannequin and they would throw it into the pool, and you had 10 seconds to get to it. Oftentimes they would throw it in there when you weren't looking. They basically wanted to check to see whether or not you were actually paying attention. I've only failed it once, and it was when I first started, and I never failed after that. Same thing here. The only difference is if you fail to do your job here, you could get seriously injured. You possibly even killed.
Okay, upper tier. It is now 9 o'clock. You have the first wreck of the morning. Right now we're doing med pass for Bravo unit right here. And what's going to happen is I'm going to call out 3 cubes at a time. They're going to come up here, get their meds. And we're going to verify it. Me and the nurse, we're going to verify it with their booking sheets and with the rosters. Make sure the right person's getting the right meds. Right now we got the food cart impos. You're about to see this is how we feed through the day. Our runarounds are our guys that's going to be feeding. What they're going to do is when the person comes by, they're going to grab 1 tray. I'm going to be standing right beside of it right there, observing, making sure everything's on the tray so nobody tries to get doubles or whatnot.
This reminds me, I'm actually going to save a lot of money on lunches because I can actually eat the food inside the prison. Now, prison food is known for being notoriously shit, but I've eaten pig intestines before, so honestly, compared to that, I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. But hey, if I'm allowed to have the food inside of there and it saves me money, I'm not going to make a big deal about it.
This is a lunchtime tray for today. If you notice, it's got the bread and everything, the meat under there, the cheese, the
That looks
cookies, the chips, the condiments, and everything like that.
That's
Like I
already
said,
better
everything does
than what
meat.
we have. I don't know if I can put this in the video or not, but I will actually ask somebody on Monday if I can. We actually had an inmate where I work who took string, covered it in toothpaste, and actually filed down one of those trays to make prison shanks. I shit you not. He cut it into like 6 sections and actually cut a couple of strips off of it. They found the tray, but they have no idea who did it. So somewhere in the prison where I work, there are 2 prison shanks that I know of in there. So how fun is your job, guys?
At this time, what we're going to do is we're going to go conduct a shakedown. That means we're going to be looking for any contraband that the inmate has. Contraband is anything that's prohibited for the inmate to have.
That part is very important, and there's a long list of stuff they can't have. But more commonly, you'll find stuff like drugs. You'll also find little metal strips that aren't weapons, but they're not supposed to have them because a lot of people will actually... Don't try this at home, kids. They'll take a metal strip and actually stick it into an electrical outlet and light cigarettes on that because they're not allowed to have lighters. Yeah, that can actually start a fire, and it's actually the most common reason why there are fires inside where I work. Ah, daylight. It's searing my retinas. All right, so that was pretty exciting. There was a lot that I knew in there already just from the week that I've had. Basically, all they told us this week, we haven't even started the academy yet, but there was a lot that I've done so far. I got to actually see the inside of the facility via the security cameras, which they have a lot of. There's a lot more that I taught you from that video that I thought I was going to be able to do. So that's cool. All right, so the training academy video is only 3 minutes, so I'm going to try to cover that real quick. Oh yeah, I can already tell you this is going to be a little outdated. It's 5 years old, and also I see that in the preview they're pepper spraying people. But me and another officer that I work with actually want to do the extra training where you actually do get pepper sprayed. So if I ever get a chance to do that, I'll see if I can't record it for you guys, because that'll be funny.
They aren't prisoners inside state prison,
Today is exposure to chemical agents.
but they
Neat.
need to prove ready for the challenge.
Challenging sometimes because people don't listen.
As 5 cadets train to join inmates at the Yuma State Prison.
This sounds dramatic. Again, they're really not highlighting how boring it actually is in there.
5 cadets in a class of 42 are trying to prove they're fit enough to start a new career working at the Yuma State Prison.
Oh, that explains it. It's in Arizona. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. People are a bit bass-backwards there.
Best job I ever had in the department was being a class sergeant and seeing that day one cadet that comes in and you know that they've never held a job in their life.
It's a test of knowing psychological welfare as well as being physically fit.
I can already tell you, there is actually no physical requirement for working where I work as a CO. I don't know why that is, but it does make sense that you would want to still work out. So they do have a gym that you can actually either come in early or stay late and actually work out in. So yeah, definitely stay fit when you do this job.
Often used by law enforcement and military, Bardo says the Arizona Department of Corrections uses the Cooper Fitness Standard.
Spend almost all of week 4 in the gym, throwing each other down on the mat, learning pressure points, proper tactical cuffing techniques.
What they don't tell you is that the prisoners know that stuff too. This is why most academies are also starting to work on de-escalation. You fight with your words first, because a lot of prisoners are going to know these very same tactics. And on top of that, they're probably going to know more tactics than you know. So you don't go in to work in a prison to get in a fight. You want to try to prevent people from fighting.
And how to defend themselves and others utilizing physical force.
By mid-session, they're already learning self-defense and how to handle a lethal weapon.
You gotta learn a lot of discipline in here, and you can come try out, and you learn a lot of stuff.
Even how to deal with pepper spray.
To allow the cadets to understand exactly what it feels like when they're spraying an inmate so that they can fight through it.
Freaking out.
Yeah, nice. We don't do that there. You would, however, if I were also wanting to apply at the highway patrol, then I would have to do it. Or if I wanted to work in law enforcement, then I would have to do it. Even though technically I am a member of law enforcement now, it's a different set of training that I have. So that's why they don't do that. It's a different set of training. Although me and another classmate are actually kind of curious as to how we would be able to get that, because we are permitted on our own time to actually go seek it out if we want it. The only downside is that if we have that training, we may actually get pulled from the prison to actually go work with highway patrol if need be. So that'd be fun.
Sets might be a good life lesson. By the end of training, they know use of force is the road most rarely taken.
Thank you.
Come out and tell them, do this. You have to also, they're humans. Treat them with respect. Talk to them like they're humans. And
Interacting with them. It's like talking to them like, they're real human beings.
Because they're also reminded that someday most inmates will go home.
Most offenders are going to get released and they're going to come back into society, into our neighborhoods, and move in next door to you and I, and hopefully they're better off for their visit with us than when they came in.
There you go. I'm glad they finally touched up on that instead of being all like, hey, this is what you're going to have to do, because, prisoners are not humans, and you need to beat them up in order to get them to listen to you. That's not what it is at all. Most of these people who are in there will treat you with respect as long as you treat them with respect in return. I mean, there's a lot more I could say about it, but I'm going to actually wait till I actually get going on the actual job itself before I actually start giving you like personal experience with that, because since I do deal with a lot of mental health on here and especially now on TikTok, I'm actually going to use some of the things that I learned from this job. Not like defensive tactics or anything like that, but like how prisoners manipulate people into doing what they want. Because I believe that would actually be helpful for people who are in positions of like dealing with abuse and stuff like that. I think that would actually be really helpful. So now that you guys have gotten a small look into what I have to deal with, yeah, so this is the type of fun stuff that I'm now signed up for. This is pretty much the most I could actually tell you guys without like getting in depth at. So what the inside of the facility looks like, all that stuff, because there's a lot of, since this is a very security heavy job, there's a lot of stuff that I feel like I probably shouldn't talk about, and some stuff that I've talked about here that I'm pretty sure I'm going to ask people about on Monday. But if you guys have any questions about, you know, what I do, I'm not going to tell you where I work, but about, you know, the job in general, you can ask them in the comment section below or over on the Discord server in the general chat. But yeah, right now, this is the job that's paying for my YouTube stuff. So, cool. Speaking of YouTube stuff, if you want to support the channel, you know, subscribe. Share this with all your friends. Or check me out over on TikTok and follow me there. If you want to help me by getting gear, I have a PC part picker list, hopefully, in the description below, along with an Amazon wish list for camera gear. Or if you want to keep helping me out every month, I also have a link to my Patreon account down below, where you can pledge $1 to $10 a month. And whenever I get enough patrons there, I will start handing out all the stuff for that. We're just not there yet. So that's all the time I have. Leave your suggestions down below. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to show me some love down below by hitting the like button, and don't forget to check out the annotations for more videos. And I will see you in the next video.